There is a major pattern change coming, but I'm also going to have to issue a hype alert for that weekend storm in the Northeast. I'm Jonathan Kegas, your no BS meteorologist. Now, a piece of that storm that likely won't come into fruition is going to be moving through the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. We'll break down that part of the storm closer to the end of the video. Do me a favor, post in the comments what the weather is doing where you are tuning in from. Let's get to it. We are starting things off with the European ensemble locations for the surface low pressure. Now, we're picking this up on Friday afternoon. Here comes our dying area of low pressure out of the Great Lakes and upper Midwest. As that is falling apart, we're likely going to see another surface low develop out over the East Coast and into the Atlantic. Now, this is going to be on Saturday morning. All of these little L's are where the individual ensembles think that that area of low pressure is going to be. Look at where they're clustered, though. For a big snowstorm, especially along the coast of the I-95 corridor in the Northeast, you want this guy to be right about here. There are a few of the members that are up there, but for the most part, the mean of those members way down here, southeast of the Delmarva and off of the Carolina coastline. And you also see what happens. As that ramps up, it just kind of pushes back out to sea. So again, that is not the greatest location surface-wise for a big snowstorm in the Northeast. I want to show you the GFS. That big bullseye there is the center of low pressure from the ensemble members again. It's a little better, but you're also going to notice as we take this out into the future, that's Saturday morning, that it just kind of moves away and off the coast. Again, you really, to get the big ones, want these to ramp up and then head up in that direction closer towards the Canadian Maritimes. I preach this all the time, especially this far out in this stage of the game. You need to have pattern recognition and look at the upper level pattern. So that is what we are going to do, again, and disregard all the garbage out there in terms of the numbers, especially. So now we're going to start this. We're going to pick this up on Saturday morning. This is early Saturday morning. This is where our upper level system is, moving over western Pennsylvania. I want to point out a couple of things. If you watch this channel a lot, we always talk about pattern recognition, and you want to have that ridge out west for a really nice northeast snowstorm. Notice this little kink up here coming out of British Columbia. That is going to help to weaken that ridge. So that's already off the bat. That's not a good thing. As we take this further out into the future, we see that it's flat. There's hardly any ridge as our big upper low is moving out over the Atlantic. So this pattern is also going to favor that area of low pressure moving back out to sea away from New England. Now, we'll likely have some rain, and I do think we're going to have some rain changing to snow this weekend, but I do not think we are going to get crushed. Maybe a different story as we get into early next week, and stick around for that, and we will break that part of this video down. This is the GFS representation. It has it a little better at the surface. This is just the operational model now, so this is one deal here. This is going to be late Saturday morning, and it certainly looks a little bit better. There's the area of low pressure, but also watch what happens. It quickly gets on out of here, so any kind of snow is very, very short-lived. All right, so I am going to beat this dead horse. I want to show you the Canadian here, and this is going to transition to that potentially bigger system for the Northeast now, early next work week, into that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. Now watch this. Again, the Canadian is certainly on board with where the European ensemble mean was. Way out here. Again, you want it about right there off the Jersey coast, and then pretty much south of Nantucket. Right there. That's going to be your benchmark big snowstorm, and then working its way up towards the Canadian Maritimes. It's not working out for us. But wait, there's another thing that's not working out for us as well, and that is the fact that we don't have any blocking in play. There is just no cold air source to combat the warmer air that's going to be surging up from any developing low pressure on the coast. So I want to show you what I'm talking about here. You can clearly see as we move this out in time, that little blue feature, and I'll point it out with the telestration right there. That is our little kink in the jet stream. That is our little upper low sliding across the northern tier of the country. But notice it just slide right back off of the eastern seaboard. Up in Greenland, we want to have all of this right in here beat red, indicating where we have a big chunk of high pressure kind of blocking everything and also supplying the Northeast, New England, with a lot of cold. It's just not happening. I do want to take you further out into the future, though, and notice what does happen, though. This is going to be Monday afternoon. This is March 13th into 14th. And look at that. Okay, not only do we have this big giant bullseye, this big area of blue, that is a big upper low developing, but we have this red expanding from the Hudson Bay closer to the Canadian Maritimes and then back over Greenland. We do have a little bit of blocking in play. And wait just 1 second here. Look back to the west. What do we have? Some ridging out there. So the pattern for this weekend is not good for a big snowstorm, but something to maybe get a little bit more excited about is going to be the potential for a snowstorm in that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe beyond the weekend. I just think this weekend for the Northeast is going to be a dud. You can kind of see this here. This is another rendition of the upper level pattern. This is from the operational model itself, from the European. There's all my telestration from before. Note that big ridge out here. And then there's our developing upper low right along the coast. Now, there's going to be big time questions as to where this actually develops, because you also may notice this guy here is going to play with that. Those are two upper lows together, and how they kind of play with each other and interact will mean everything for if we do get a snowstorm to develop early next work week. I'm talking again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. But pattern recognition, that's a big check mark, because we have that ridge there and we do have that trough right there. But again, I do think this weekend in New York City, in the Northeast, it's a dud. So be careful what you're looking at on social media. All right, so I want to show you from that surface perspective again. This is going to be Tuesday morning, March 14th. Remember from that weaker system, again, that's coming up this weekend, all the lows or all the L's were down off of Carolina. Look at where the mean is now. Closer to where you want it for that big benchmark coastal system. And a lot of those L's are right there. Right where X marks the spot. Right, again, if you follow the New Jersey coastline down to about Cape Cod, right there is where you want that area of low pressure for those big time nor'easters to really crush the Northeast with snow. And we do have a little blocking, and we do have a good upper level pattern. So I'm certainly more confident in that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday deal that could be impacting the 95 corridor. Again, I'm issuing a hype alert for the Sunday storm. All right, so now we're going to transition back into the first piece of this. We're going back in time. We're fast forwarding out until about Wednesday into Thursday. This is the first piece of, again, what I think is going to be a dud in New England, but it's a clipper system bringing some snow to Iowa, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, eastern Montana. That's going to be on Thursday. We're going to take this out in time further, and then it's going to work on through the Great Lakes. So this is going to be Friday now. We have the snow moving from Wisconsin into western Pennsylvania through Michigan. This should be relatively light. Could pick up several inches, but it should be relatively light. It's just a moisture-starved clipper. And then again, that is the European rendition of some rain changing to a little bit of snow in northern Jersey, northern Pennsylvania, and then just riding off into the sunset. And then if you go out a little further, then that might be something. Again, this is that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday deal. That, I think, is something that you might want to put in the back of your mind. My excitement meter is up to about a 6 out of 10 on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing. The one for this weekend is only about a 2 out of 10. So again, just something to be mindful of, that what you likely are going to see on social media in terms of a model forecast, garbage, it's hype, it's clickbait. Back to the upper Midwest and northern plains. I don't think there's a ton of snow coming with this. This is going to be the European ensemble from Thursday through Saturday morning. I think a widespread 2 to 4 inches of snow is going to be good. Some places are going to be pushing 6. You see that purple bullseye here, especially right along the North Dakota, South Dakota border. Still, though, I think this Clipper, it's relatively moisture starved. That's the calling card of a Clipper system since it comes out of the dry Canadian Rockies and then works its way down through the upper Midwest. Nonetheless, I think a nice little snowstorm coming here. I think a widespread 2 to 4, maybe up to 3 to 6 inches with isolated higher amounts from the Dakotas into northern Iowa and then pushing through Michigan and Wisconsin. Not in that order, because, of course, Wisconsin comes before Michigan. I want to know, do you think we're going to get snow in the Northeast this weekend? Do you think we're going to get it on Tuesday? Do you think we're going to get it at all before this winter ends? Post that in the comments. If you did enjoy this content, if you love talking about the weather and tracking it, we would love to have you in this growing weather community. Please hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you next time.